KMES English Medium Junior College welcome its students for the online lecture of philosophy for Standard 11. For the chapter 2nd, what is it? How do we know what to do? For the topic philosophy and culture and the nature of Indian philosophy. Students, we are going to start with the second chapter. What is? How do we know what to do? Let's have our introduction of it. The principal theories and concepts that study in maths, geometry or physics do not vary according to nationality, society or culture. For example, the sum of the three angles of a triangle is 180 in India, in Thailand, in Mexico or France. The law of gravity is same all over the world. It is a feature of philosophy that is changed to various extents according to the society, culture it originates in. The philosophy gets divided into Indian, Chinese, African, Western philosophy. Just for example, music, which is called a universal language, but it changed with the changing time, reason and culture. Just like basic human needs that are universal, the same, but fulfilled differently in different circumstances. Human curiosity about the world, the questions that humans confront are largely similar. The nature of the question and answer change according to the space, time and circumstances. Philosophy resembles before more with art than with science in this regard. Like art, philosophy is intimately connected with culture. Philosophy, thinking takes root in the soil of culture. Like other disciplines in humanity, philosophy generates in the process of thought. Our everyday experience are raw material of thought. Thinking processes this material and produce philosophization. Our experience is composed of our natural surrounding, society and mental world. Everyone is normally endued with similar experience abilities, but we live in diverse natural and social, geographical and historical contexts. And therefore, the color, texture and form of human experience vary according to difference of space and time. Philosophy, which interprets this experience and makes sense of our inner and outer world also. Philosophy and culture. Every culture provides human with life perspective. This perspective acts as a framework of human being relation with natural society, God, a framework for his daily life. Why? Philosophy bears the influence of these life perspectives by each culture. Philosophy sometimes supports it, sometimes rejects it. But philosophization is definitely a response or a reaction to this life perspective. Some cultures believe in supernatural world existing beyond this material world. Philosophy originating in this culture usually think of this world with reference to other worlds also. It identifies the way of life. Many cultures possess an idea of God, but it changed with changing cultural and temporal scenario. Ancient Greek god differ differently from the Christian god, and so the pre-Christian philosophy did not revolve around God. But God assumed a dominant position in the philosophization after Christ. Socio-political situation of a period in time get reflected in its philosophy. For example, at the time of war or political instability, philosophy turned its attention from abstract questioning regarding the nature of knowledge or the world of practical moral and the nature of human relationships. In 21st century, Europe suffering from horror and atrocities of two world wars. The philosophization known as existential brought up such questions as what is the meaning of human existence? Is there a purpose of life? Who gives it this purpose? The present time has present philosophy with new challenges. The activity in many fields such as neurology, cognitive science, artificial intelligence, social media are implying us to consider one more, the metaphysical question. What does it actually mean to be a human being? The research in this field is shedding new light on how we know. These findings are valuable in epistemology. Today, the human population has overflowed, and on the other hand, markets are overflowing with products and services manufactured using advanced technology. This has taken a toll on natural environment. Mankind is now facing a problem of environmental crisis. Philosophy endeavor in response to this crisis has given rise to environmental ethics as new sub-branch of ethics in few decades ago. Even though philosophy differ in keeping with time and place, philosophies with diverse cultural background also display many remarkable similarities. Philosophical questions are essential, the same even if their nature seems to transform with the changing context. The scope of philosophy is very huge, as we mentioned earlier, and it does not rule out any subject out whatsoever. The list of philosophical questions is too long. It is in fact endless. Some of them are supremely important and focal of philosophy. All of us confront this question in the humdrum of everyday existence. We sort them out too, knowingly or unknowingly as per our strength and in our own way. But philosophy consciously and systematically tries to solve the question. Let's get acquainted with three major questions of philosophy in this lesson. The nature of Indian philosophy. Philosophical discourse from all religions and countries, ruminating on the above mentioned question. But the nature of the question and the answer is temporary and culturally variable. As we saw, Indian philosophers consider this question simultaneously. They did not spring up into different branches. Indian philosophy seemed to define philosophy as an all encompassing contemplation of life and the world. It is also believed that the Indian tradition philosophy was closely linked with the course of problem of day-to-day life. This question was such as what is the purpose of life? What is worth attaining in life? How is that to be attained? Gained priority in Indian thought. The metaphysical, epistemology and ethical question fell within this very framework. Many Indian darshanas try to explain the type of sorrow and freedom from sorrow. The knowledge of the ancient Indian varna and ashrama, along with the concept of Purushartha, is helpful in understanding Indian philosophical thinking. Indian philosophization seems also to be influenced by the concepts such as Atma, Purnajanma, Karma, etc. There are 9 darshanas that are considered the principle of darshana in Indian tradition. They are categorized into 2 types, that is Astic, orthodox, and Nastic, heterodox darshana. Astic darshana consists of Nyaya, Vikasa, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta, whereas Nastic darshana consists of Jaina, Buddha, Charvaka. Veda and Upanishad have important place in Indian philosophy. The darshana that accepts the authorities of Vedic knowledge are called as Astic darshana. Mimamsa, Vedanta, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya and Vaishesika are the 6 Astic darshana. The rest 3, Charvaka, Jaina and Buddha, are Nastic darshana, since they reject the authorities of Vedic knowledge. An additional characteristic of this darshana is that, along with discussing the scholar questions such as what is Satya, what is Asatya, what is knowledge, what are the means of knowledge, they also inquire into the right perspectives of life and guide us on the way to live and how to live. The tradition emphasizes that knowledge must be utilized for leading a good life. One more remarkable feature of Indian tradition is that some stream or the school of thought that has opposing view and contrasting answer to the philosophical question emerge and flourish to a larger extent. Parallelly and not one after another, all darshana share, exchange their outlook with one another. The method of Veda debate, which we discussed in the previous lecture, was practiced for this purpose. That is why this tradition would nurture to some extent the tradition of open-minded, respectfulness, appreciation, and aesthetic views, and the practice of referring one's own view through the careful study of the opponent's view. The lavish cultural variety of Indians stimulates a wide range of philosophical texts. Some of them have sustained themselves in spite of losing fellowship and falling into the mainstream of thought. Western tradition. The numerous schools of Western philosophy developed over time, one after another. The fountainhead of Western philosophy is pure curiosity about the world that cut across the revolution of practical issues and For this reason, Asian Western philosophers applied themselves in finding the nature of the experimental material world. Philosophy from these periods are primarily metaphysical. In fact, branch philosophy hadn't been formed initially. Aristotle was forced to categorize knowledge on the basis of content of each subject. Since philosophization was the origin of nature, in the Aristotelian classification, physics, poetics, logic, metaphysics, ethics were also considered branches of philosophy. Many of the branches, especially that we know today as natural science, later developed as independent disciplines. The branch of philosophy evolved and multiplied differently in different historical conditions. For example, the establishment of Christianity across Europe witnessed the lift of philosophization from metaphysical questions to questions related to nature of God and his relationships with the world. With the rising of the modern science, philosophy took an epistemological turn, preferring the questions such as what is knowledge, what are the most reliable means of it, which human facilities are important in acquaintance of knowledge. We have taken a brief overview of Indian and Western tradition. It shows that the question what is, how do we know and what to do keep surfacing in philosophization at all times, in all places. The question that will take importance, the way it will be handled and the way it will be answered from time to time is largely governed by the culture and the historical factors of the philosophy. Cultural perspectives play a vital role in the development of philosophy, and in turn philosophy form an important part of culture. Culture and philosophy share a reciprocal bond and comprehension of philosophical systems, prove beneficial in appreciating a culture. Understanding of philosophy other than our own enriched nourishment, our intellectual cultural world. It reduces the cultural strain among people. We must understand each other better. We can better dream of a noble human society. In this time of globalization, let's familiarize ourselves with the various philosophies of the world. But let us first know step by step the important questions addressed by them.